When we decided to buy a building plot in Croatia while living in Germany, we thought the hardest part would be to find the right plot and deal with Croatian paperwork. We were wrong. The most terrifying part was a bank transfer that went so wrong that we almost lost both our land and 10% deposit. In this video, I will walk you through exactly how we bought land in Croatia from Germany and how a payment to non-EU bank turned into a 2-month nightmare. I will also share what we would have done differently, so if you're thinking to buy a building plot in Croatia from abroad, hopefully you won't go through the same stress. Before we start, a quick note. This video is about personal experience as private buyers. It's not legal or financial advice. If you plan to buy land or property in Croatia, please talk to a qualified lawyer, notary, and your bank about your specific situation. Let's start at the beginning of the purchase process. After we decided we wanted to buy this piece of building land, we contacted our real estate agent and we were put in touch with their lawyer. From the first email, the lawyer was very communicative and reliable, and he became the middle person between us as buyers and the sellers in Croatia. He prepared a draft of the preliminary agreement, the so-called pre-contract, and sent it to us for review. Together with the draft, he also sent the official documents, the izvod iz katastarskog plana, the excerpt from the cadastral plan, and the izvadak iz zemljišne knjige, the land registry extract. We read through everything carefully, asked all our questions, and gave our feedback. Once we were satisfied, we signed the preliminary agreement in the middle of October. In this preliminary agreement, we agreed to pay an advance of 10% of the total purchase price. This advance was to be paid to a EU bank account. We made the transfer the same day we signed, and everything went smoothly. At that point, we felt, okay, this is working. The next important step before we could sign the final contract was getting a Croatian OIB, the personal identification number. You need this number to be properly registered in the system and to appear in the land purchase contract. Because we were still in Germany, we decided to authorize the real estate lawyer in Croatia to obtain the OIB for us. For that, we needed a document called specijalna punomoć, a special power of attorney written in Croatian language. We contacted the notary in Germany by phone and asked whether he could notarize such document. He told us very clearly that the document had to be either in German or in a bilingual version that he could understand. So we checked with our Croatian real estate lawyer, and he confirmed that Croatian-German version of the specijalna punomoć document would be accepted by the Croatian authorities. We signed and we sent the documents by post to Croatia. After some time, we received confirmation that our OIBs were registered. With that, we were finally ready for the final purchase contract. Once the OIB was in place, the lawyer sent us the final land purchase contract. Again, we read it carefully, discussed a few points, and then we signed it. On paper, it looked like a straightforward next step after the pre-contract. But there was one crucial difference. This time, the final payment was to be transferred to a non-EU bank account. We knew it was more money and we knew it was a cross-border transfer, but we had already done an international payment for the 10% advance to a EU bank, and that worked smoothly. So we thought, we will inform our bank in Germany, they will handle it, and on the seller's side, their bank will do the same. It will be fine. We underestimated how complicated a large transfer above 50,000 euros to a non-EU bank can be. We initiated the transfer according to the contract. We informed our bank, we provided the requested documents, and we waited for the money to arrive on seller's side. But instead of confirmation, we found out that non-EU recipient bank has rejected our transaction. The worst part was, the money were not in our account anymore, but they were not on the seller's account either. Our funds were somewhere in between, stuck in the banking system. This was the beginning of our 2-month payment nightmare. This situation went on for weeks, and with every week, our stress level has increased. Every morning we would wake up and check our bank account. Was the money back? Has the transaction gone through? And if the answer was no, the knot in our stomachs got a bit tighter. At some point we realized that just talking to the banks was not enough. We needed someone in Germany to push from the legal side. So we hired a lawyer in Germany to file a legal complaint and put more pressure on the banking side. That step alone shows how serious it felt for us. We were not just dealing with a slow international transfer. We were dealing with a large amount of money stuck between the banking systems with no clear deadlines for when or if it would return. All of this would already have been stressful enough, but there was another layer of pressure: the contract deadlines. Our land purchase contract had clear deadlines for when the final payment had to be made. And those deadlines came and went while the money was stuck between the systems. Because the payment deadlines have passed, we have effectively lost our legal right to get our 10% deposit back if the deal fails. If the sellers have decided to give up and walk away, we would have lost both the land and the 10% deposit. After almost 2 months of this back and forth, the legal complaint and endless communication, something finally moved. Shortly before Christmas, money finally arrived to our bank account. It was a huge relief. But at the same time, we still wanted to complete the purchase. We didn't go through all of this just to give up at the last moment. Before we sent the money again, we were assured that this time the non-EU bank would not reject the transaction. We double-checked everything and then we made the transfer again, and this time it worked. The payment went through, the sellers received the money, and the land registration documents were officially submitted. On Christmas Eve, we became the official owners of the land. Now that the story has a happy ending, I want to share the concrete lessons we are taking from this experience. We would not only clarify that we are sending a large amount abroad, but also ask very specific questions about how transfers above 50,000 euros are processed step by step. What coordination is needed with the recipient bank? What realistic timeframes we should expect? And what internal checks or risk rules might cause a rejection even when all our documents are correct. We would have a clear discussion about the recipient bank account before signing the contract. Is it really necessary to send final payment to a non-EU bank? Is there an option to pay to a EU account instead? Could a notary or a escrow account be used? We would negotiate the payment deadlines in the contract more carefully. We would try to build in buffer time for potential banking delays, especially with international transfers. We would also discuss clauses that cover what happens if there is a delay caused by the banks and not by us. We would ask more detailed questions about what happens to the deposit or advance in different scenarios. Under which conditions is it returned? Under which conditions is it kept by the seller? And how is this related to payment deadlines and proof that we tried to pay? We would absolutely again work with a good, responsive local lawyer in Croatia. Our lawyer was one of the main reasons why the deal stayed alive. He kept the communication open with the sellers, explained the banking issues, and helped maintain trust between both sides while we were fighting with the banks. Buying land in Croatia from Germany or from any country is a big step. Our story is not meant to scare you away from following your dream. It is meant to show that even when you think everything is under control, there are hidden risks, and good preparation, good lawyer, and the communication with your bank are absolutely essential. If you are in the process of buying land or planning to start, I hope that our experience will help you to ask the right questions and avoid at least some of the stress that we went through. Thank you for watching and being part of our journey. Bye!